Hey there! So today I'll be showing you how you can spatialize your voice when recording with the camera in Resonite. Now, this does require a little bit of setup on your end. Specifically, you'll need something like OBS that can record your microphone and your game audio separately, because otherwise you won't be able to swap back and forth. Because the way it works is essentially we'll be recording the game instead of the microphone directly. So let's get right into it. Now, first things first, we'll have to actually make it so that instead of game audio coming from yourself, it'll have to come from the camera. The way you do this is in the camera control panel. So I'm gonna quickly enable that from being shown and show you. So here is my camera control panel, and on the left side here, we have audio from Viewpoint. Now, if we check that, all game audio will now be based off of the camera rather than my own head. So if I was standing in front of the camera talking to it, it would be spatialized as if I was in front of the camera. If I was behind the camera, it would sound as if I was behind the camera. And that's exactly what we want. Now, currently that's not going to happen because we're not quite finished. So let's get into the actual in-game setup. So I'm going to quickly go into Smooth POV and we'll get the Flux tip. But I'll use a multi-tool and swap to a dev tip. So first things first, I'll select myself and go into the inspector. In this inspector, I'll then go to the root of my avatar, and in here we'll have a few proxies, and the proxy we're interested in is the head proxy. Now, what we'll do with this head proxy, actually, is we'll go down to the avatar voice source assigner, because then beneath that is the audio output, the actual thing we want. Now here, it has this little list called exclude users. Now, every user in that list cannot hear the audio. If we were to get rid of our user in here, that would mean that we can hear our own audio now. So I'll put it back in here because it makes it hard for me to talk when I can hear myself. Because currently I actually have the in-game audio disabled to avoid it having this kind of like echo effect where you can hear me multiple times. Now, going straight into it, we swap to the Flux tip now, grab this little list entry here, and get a source for it. Next, we'll need an if node that we can simply get in flow. We'll also need an is null from operators. Doesn't matter which one you get, you can simply hook up this little user output here into it, and it'll convert the node. Now, what this will do is it'll split up our pulses so that if this has a user, it'll go down here. If it has no user, it'll go up here. Oh no! There. There we go. All right, so getting right into it further, we will need some rights. So we go to actions, and we'll get a right. And let's just get a value right of type Boolean because I'm lazy, and then just grab this little wire here, put it into here, and then cut it again. Select this, and we'll see Flux engine context user. Now, this will allow us to simply have a right that is user-based. So we'll need 3 of those, and you'll, in a second, see why. First, we'll grab one of their variable slots and create a store, because this variable will not need to be network synchronized. We'll simply name this old voice user. This is simply going to store the user that is currently in here. So if it does have a user, we first store that user down here, because we'll need it for later. After doing this, we'll trigger another write, and this write is actually going to be writing to the field itself, setting it to null. So now, if we have a user, we set the user to null and store the old user. Now, if we don't have a user, what we want to do is we simply want to reset back to the old user. So we again grab this and put it into the variable. So now if I click this, it's gone, it's back, it's gone, it's back. And yeah, that's how simple you can make it so that you can conditionally hear yourself or can't hear yourself. One thing is, I highly suggest that if you do this, that you make it so that you're using an empty audio device that is just like a dummy that you don't actually hear. Because at least for me, it makes it really hard to talk when I can hear myself. I'm not doing this right now because I'm lazy, but it's my suggestion. Now, what we have to do next is very simple. We just swap our camera back into third person, then into manual, and we'll make the camera actually be here. I have audio from camera viewpoint already enabled. Now next, I'm simply going to disable my microphone in OBS and enable the game audio. And now after swapping around the audio output, you can actually hear me from the camera. And yeah, that's it. Have a nice day. I'm leaving. Bye-bye. See ya.